Boys, today, this is a hard video to make, but we're gonna go through every single division in the UFC, pick one fighter that has fallen off tremendously, down bad, down in the trenches as of recently. I'm not excited to make this video whatsoever, but as of last week's pay-per-view, we saw the boy Tai Tuivasa. We saw some guys out there that, fan favorites, some very entertaining fighters that are back on a huge losing streak. Again, I'm not excited to make this video, but we're going through every single division. Let's start with the heavyweight division. We're picking one fighter who's fallen off as of recently. If I pick someone on this list that you don't agree with, or you have someone else in mind, let me know in the comments below. But heavyweight division. Mentioned this in the start of the video, UFC 305. We saw the boy Tai Tuivasa lose again. I don't know how much longer I can continue in a world where Tai Tuivasa is continuously getting his ass beat. And it's crazy because he was never, at least in the UFC, he was never really that big of like a guy. He wasn't on any huge winning streak. Let's go when he first got into the UFC. This is back 2017. He fought Rashard Cutler, flying knee KO in the first round. That's a good start. Then we go Cyril Asker, February 2018. KO, punches and elbows. Move up, Andre Arlovsky, decision win. That was in 2018. Then, we go on a little bit of a losing streak here. 2018, Junior Dos Santos, he lost by TKO. Blagoy Inovov, lost by decision. 2019. Also 2019, Sergey Spivak, triangle choke in the second round. After that, this is when he went on his little bit of a spree here. He beat Stefan Struve, KO, Harry Hunsucker, TKO in the first round, the first 49 seconds. Same thing, 2021, Greg Hardy, blessed. This is when I became a Tuivasa fan, I'm not gonna lie. When he knocked out Greg Hardy, best believe your boy was cheering that day, but that was in 2021. First round knockout, then Augusto Sakai, second round KO. Then, his last win back in 2022, Derek Lewis, second round elbow KO. After that, if he would have beaten his next opponent, which was Cyril Gane, we would have seen this guy fight John Jones for a title in the heavyweight division, which is insane to think about. But Tai Tuivasa, Cyril Gane, my boy lost in the third round by KO. We're like, okay, it's Cyril Gane, he at that time was hyped up to be the next champion anyways. That's okay. He'll bounce back. Sergey Pavlovich, first round knockout, December 2022. Okay, we can let that one slide. This guy has some heavy hands in the heavyweight division. Surely this isn't gonna be a continuing thing where my boy just continuously loses, right? September 2023, Alexander Volkov, Ezekiel choke round 2. Okay, maybe he's not that great on the feet, but let's give him a bounce back win. Let's give him Tybura. Surely he can beat Tybura. First round rear naked choke. Come on. At this point, my boy, it was so sad seeing this downfall of Tai Tuivasa. Literally one of the most fan favorite fighters in that heavyweight division, him and Derek Lewis. I was talking to my dad while watching UFC 305 after he lost to Jairzinho. I was like, it sucks, but Tai Tuivasa can literally lose the next 1,000,000 fights and they won't cut the guy because he's just that much of a fan-friendly fighter, just like Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis will probably never get cut from the UFC just because he's such a fan favorite fighter. Same thing with Tai Tuivasa, but damn, the downfall of Tai Tuivasa was and is one of the more sadder things in at least recent UFC. Let's go to the light heavyweight division though. Light heavyweight division, you could pick a few guys here. But I'm going to go with, this has to be one of the biggest downfalls, in the light heavyweight division. Yes, there's other guys you can pick, but I'm going with Dominic Reyes. Probably an easy answer. This man was on a tear. Let's see, when did he join the UFC? 2017, he joined the UFC, got a first round KO, then a few months later, first round submission, then going up, Jared Cannonier, first round KO, Ovince St. Preux, decision, Volkan Oezdemir, split decision, Chris Weidman, first round KO. This man at that time was 12-0 going into that John Jones fight where we have that conversation where Dominic Reyes beat John Jones that day. It's a lot of people's opinion on that fight. Regardless, unanimous decision, John Jones lost. His first loss ever as a professional, first loss in the UFC. We're all like, okay, he got robbed from John Jones. Surely, now that John Jones is vacating the title, we're going to see Dominic Reyes just have a crazy run and a crazy title defense spree in this light heavyweight division. That's what everyone was thinking Went into that Jan Blachowicz fight. I'm pretty sure this boy was a favorite to win this fight. Second round TKO. Like, okay, you know, he got caught. It is what it is. Surely that's not the end for him. Surely he can come back, you know. Maybe a little bit of a glass jaw. Let's see him back in like a year's time. See how he's doing then. We give this guy Yuri Prochazka. Second round TKO. Not even a TKO. This man got flatlined by Yuri. At that point, we're like, okay, this is a huge downfall from Dominic Reyes. We had him so highly regarded. Now my boy is just down in the dumps. We don't see him for another year, where he lost by like a jab to Ryan Spann. That's when everyone was like, okay, Dominic Reyes is officially done, you know. At that point, everyone was writing him off. It was so bad we had to give him such an easy layup in Dustin Jacoby. He got that done in the first round KO. Good to see. People love to see that. A feel-good moment, but just such a huge fall from grace for Dominic Reyes. The biggest, I would say one of the biggest what-ifs in that light heavyweight division. Like, what if Dominic Reyes beat John Jones that night? Officially. Huge what ifs, but as of right now, he's looked at like a mid-level, I would say even like a low mid-level light heavyweight fighter. You know, that chin is just gone, glass chin. And yeah, when you're in such a big division with big guys like that, having a glass chin is not a good thing. But let's keep moving down. Middleweight division. This is going to be a very controversial one. I already know this. I guarantee I'm going to have at least a few little Timmies in my comments just going crazy that I picked this man. But this man's undefeated. He's undisputed. I'm just kidding. He's undefeated. We're talking about the boy Chimaev. Now, what do I mean about this? Why is Chimaev even in this conversation? That's because, you know, let's go back when he joined the UFC, okay? Joined the UFC 2020. July 15th specifically. John Phillips, second round submission. We're like, okay, that's pretty good. Literally turned back 10 days later, July 25th, 2020. Riz McKee, I believe this is up a division. First round KO. We're like, okay. I remember watching this live too and thinking this is crazy. Because at the time, this is the fastest turnaround of fights in the UFC. He looked unstoppable. I was already hyped for his next fight. His next fight, literally like a month and a half later, Gerald Meerschaert. I was hyped for this fight. 17-second KO. At that point, pretty much the entire MMA community had their eyes on Chimaev, looking at him as a three-weight world champion. He had so much hype off his first 3 fights alone. Then, you know, about a year later, a year and a month later, October 30, 2021, he fought the Leech. Everyone was hyped for this. We were a little disappointed that it took a little bit of time, but regardless, we were super hyped for this fight. I believe the reason it took so long, I could be misremembering this, but I'm pretty sure is because he had COVID. He was going to retire, but regardless, powered through it. It's all okay now. And this is probably one of his more dominating performances in the UFC. Definitely his most dominating. Picking up the Leech, walking him over to Dana White like he's holding a child, like he's holding a little toddler, slamming the Leech on the ground, getting that rear naked choke. This was a crazy fight. If you didn't know about Chimaev, you did now. And at this point, everyone was saying this man could be the first 3-weight world champion. Then we go to April 9th, 2022. About 6 months later, not the greatest turnaround, especially considering how fast his fights are, but still, big jump in competition. Gilbert Burns. This is where we saw a lot of holes in Chimaev's game. Mainly that fight IQ. He wanted to go blow for blow. He wanted to go, pause. He wanted to go, you know, he wanted to battle it out with Gilbert. He didn't want to take him down or any of that. He was scared of the ground game from Gilbert, but he wanted to go and try to knock out Burns for some reason. Regardless, he got that decision where, again, people were kind of like, yeah, I don't know if he becomes a 3-weight world champion, but I definitely see him becoming a champion. Then, 5 months later, good turnaround. He was supposed to fight fucking Nate Diaz. Everything turned to shit. Fuck Kevin Holland. First round submission. And again, beating such a big name like Kevin Holland, everyone was hyped up for Chimaev again. Then we go a year and 1 month later, October 21, 2023. Fought Kamaru Usman on a week's notice. Majority decision for Chimaev, getting a 10-8 in that first round, but then losing the next 2. And this just showed that Chimaev's gas tank is terrible. This one really soured the taste for Chimaev. And now we are in August 21, 2024, you know. Hasn't fought yet. He's pulled out of a few fights. He's scheduled to fight a few months now against Whitaker. And yeah, there's a lot of people we could have put in this middleweight division. I went from Chimaev just because this boy still has a stupid amount of hype. But we need to let's just go to the Leech fight. the amount of hype that he had from the Leech fight to now, he definitely had way more hype in the Leech fight than he did now. Even though he hasn't lost, the last few performances outside the Kevin Holland fight hasn't showed him to be the most dominant fighter that we thought he was going to be. We definitely thought this man would be a 3-weight world champion by now. Not even touched the belt, hasn't come close to touching the belt. There's been sicknesses, there's been pullouts, there's a lot of things that we saw this guy 2 times in 10 days to a year and a month off break. It's not looking too good. That's why I have Chimaev here. Definitely could have put someone else, but that's my reasoning for Chimaev. Let's go to a welterweight division. Again, there's a lot of guys you can put in this welterweight division. Me personally, I'm going with Kevin Holland. Mainly because Kevin Holland could be such a better fighter if he comes into the octagon and tries to win. But if there is the slightest bit of adversity, this man just says, nah, I'd rather just lose a decision than actually going full out, maybe getting KO'd, maybe getting submitted. No, I'd rather lose this on the points than going out there and trying to get it done. Let's go back to when he joined the UFC. He got it done on the Contender Series back in 2018. Got called up short notice to fight Thiago Santos August 4th, 2018. Of course, he didn't get that one done. Decision lost. But then, everyone liked his performance. He liked how competitive, I guess it was, for a short notice fight. They liked the fact that he's talking in the octagon. So 3 months later, he fought John Phillips, got a 3rd round rear naked choke. Then another 4 months later, March 2019, split decision over Gerald Meerschaert. 3 months later, June 22nd, 2019, got another decision win. This guy was fighting relatively often. He still does. Again, another 4 months later, Brendan Allen. He got submitted in that 2nd round. It is what it is. Then the biggest layoff he's had 6 months later, 2020 we're in now, Anthony Hernandez. He got that TKO win in that 1st round, the first 39 seconds. Great win. This is the run where everyone was super hyped up for Kevin Holland. I remember this run. Joaquin Buckley, 3rd round KO back in August 2020. Darren Stewart, split decision in September. Literally a month break. Again, a month break. October, Charles Ontavios TKO win in the 1st round. 2-month break here. He fought Souza and got that highlight reel KO off his back. Then, the Derek Brunson fight. Now we're in March 2021, decision loss. Marvin Vettori fight. Literally a month later, another decision loss. Then he got headbutted by Kyle Dawkins in October 2021. First time he's ever been technically TKO'd and submitted all at once. And around this time is when he started to lose a lot of his hype. I'm not gonna lie. Then I'm just gonna quickly run through these ones. Alex Oliveira, Tim Means, he beat both those guys by finish. Lost by Chimaev. And the Stephen Thompson fight, lost a bunch of hype there. Instead of going for it, maybe getting knocked out here, my guy just decides to, he just doesn't go for it. That's just the simplest way to put it. Pons Midio, he got that KO. Michael Chiesa, submission. Then he fought JDM and MVP. Both of them he lost by decision. Then he got that armbar submission over Michael Olejuscic. I think that's how you pronounce that guy's name. But yeah, this guy coming into the UFC, especially that run after that Ronaldo Souza fight, this guy was on a huge run, had so much hype to his name. But it's like he changed his style. He stopped with a loudmouth talking in the octagon. And at this point, he's just another mid-welterweight fighter, to be honest. But like I said, there's so many other guys you can put here. Let's go to that lightweight division. Probably a huge no-brainer. The saddest one here. I don't know if I need to really go into much explanation, but we got the boy El Kukui, Tony Ferguson. What is there to say? This guy was brought up to be the boogeyman in this lightweight division. He's the kryptonite to Khabib. Let's run through this guy. Let's just run through his win streak. We got 1st round submission, 1st round KO, then a decision win to Danny Costello, submission win, decision win to Josh Thompson, submission win Barboza, submission win to Lando Veneta, decision win to RDA, submission Kevin Lee, TKO Anthony Pettis, TKO Donald Cerrone, and then supposed to fight Khabib for the 3rd time. Had a reschedule for Justin Gaethje, and this is where it all goes to shit. Justin Gaethje, 5th round TKO. Charles Oliveira got his ass beat for 3 rounds. Beneil Dariush, ass beat for 3 rounds. This loss is, as each Beneil fight goes, is starting to age horribly. Michael Chandler, front kick to the face. This was, I don't think I've ever been, I don't know what the word is, but when I saw this, my heart literally my heart literally just sunk. I could have cried. I'm not gonna lie. I could have cried watching this. I thought I just saw my boy Tony Ferguson get killed live on pay-per-view. Then we go down. Nate Diaz, 4th round submission. Another terrible loss. Moving down. Bobby Green, 3rd round submission. A pretty bad loss too. Paddy Pimblett got his ass beat, decision loss. Michael Chiesa, 1st round submission. I don't know if there's anything that needs to be said. He has the longest losing streak in UFC history. He's semi-retired. I don't know if there's much to be said about this. Praise for the boy El Kukui. Once great, now turned into a pretty washed, bad fighter. Unfortunately, it is what it is. This just got so depressing, but let's keep moving down. Featherweight division. Again, there's a bunch of guys you could pick here. I'm going with a Giga Chikadze, mainly because let's go into after the Barboza fight. So again, we'll quickly run through, especially the win streak he had in the UFC. So first off, Contender Series. He lost his Contender Series fights in that 3rd round submission. Then he got 2 back-to-back 1st round finishes in the Gladiators Champions, a fighting organization outside the UFC. September 28, 2019, first fight in the UFC, Brandon Davis, split decision. Okay, it is what it is. Jamal Emmers, split decision again. It is what it is. Erwin Rivera and Omar Morales, but another 2 decision losses. It is what it is. Then, this is when we start to get that hype for Giga. We got that Jamie Simons fight. TKO in that 1st round. He's starting to get a little bit of a name to himself. We're starting to see this new dynamic striker moving up. Cub Swanson, 1st round KO again. A lot more eyes on Giga now. Now, Edson Barboza, 3rd round TKO. Okay, we're looking at this guy as a title contender. He's 1 fight away to being a title contender. Calvin Kattar coming off that humiliating loss against Max Holloway. Surely Giga can get past this guy and he'll get a title shot. A new dynamic, crazy striker. No, man got his ass beat all 5 rounds. This fight literally destroyed Giga. This was a career ender for Giga. Came back a whole year and some change later. Alex Caceres looked like just a shell of himself. Didn't even look like the same fighter. Yes, he still won that fight. He should have won the fight against Alex Caceres, but did not look the same. Then, July 27, 2024, UFC 304, Arnold Allen. Looked slow. He didn't look that strong. I think literally that Calvin Kattar fight ended Giga's career. I don't think this boy's ever going to come close to a championship belt. I don't think he's going to come close to a title shot. And yeah, back in 2021, 2022, this guy was one of the highest prospects. A lot of people are saying this boy is going to be champion. I remember that. Huge fall from grace. That's why I have Giga here. Let's keep moving down. We got 2 more left. Again, so many people you can put in each of these categories. But Bantamweight division, I got Peter Yan. Now, mainly because I need to make this video. I have a video for why I don't think this guy's ever going to be champion again. He has a terrible mentality, but let's just run through this. First off, this boy was meant to be like the new Bantamweight GOAT. I'm not really going to go through his whole UFC run because it really doesn't matter that much. He was pretty much on a 7-fight win streak until he fought Aljo. 6-fight win streak to get the belt. He got a title shot after KOing Uriah Faber back in 2019. Beat Jose Aldo for the belt in the 5th round from punches. It was a very dominant title fight for Peter Yan. I remember him just wailing on Jose Aldo on the ground. Aldo just busted up, bleeding all over the canvas. I remember this boy just wailing on him. It was hard to watch, I'm not gonna lie. Then literally the knee that completely changed his whole career trajectory. I'm not gonna lie. Another huge what ifs in the UFC, but the illegal knee to Aljamain Sterling, he lost the belt. So they do an interim title shot. Corey Sandhagen, Peter Yan. Peter Yan gets that decision win. Then rematch against Sterling. He loses that by split decision. I don't know why. I remember this so vividly. I remember telling my dad. I remember putting money on this fight. I'm like, I got a weird feeling that, Aljo's going to pull it off. I remember Aljo was a huge underdog too, but I had a feeling he was going to pull it off. He pulled it off. Moving down, we got Sean O'Malley next. Split decision loss. I think Sean O'Malley did enough to win that fight. It's a stupidly close fight regardless. Lost that fight. Then a dominant loss against Merab Dvalishvili. Came back, looked pretty good against Song Yadong. But going from someone who everybody thought was going to be, you know, the next Bantamweight GOAT, there's nobody that can beat this guy. He's so dominant. We don't see any weaknesses. We haven't seen him really even lose that many rounds. It was all like unanimous. He's winning all of his fights unanimously in pretty dominant fashion too. We never really seen him hurt either. To going on a, you know, in his last 6 fights, losing 4 of them, being someone, like I said, regarded to be the next Bantamweight GOAT, to now being regarded as, in my opinion, I don't think this guy ever gets the belt back, is a huge fall from grace. Let's finish this video up really fast. Flyweight division, I'm going with the boy Manel Kape. Now, Manel Kape, I had this guy, I thought this guy was going to beat Pantoja. They're going to rematch. I thought he was going to beat him. To now, I don't know if this guy gets even close to the title shot. He's so inactive. His last fight against Muhammad Mokaev was a really bad sign, I'm not gonna lie. And to be honest, he's lost so much hype. Before the Muhammad Mokaev fight, he was on a 4-fight winning streak. Ode Osborne, Zalgaez Zalmalikov, both of those first round finish. David Dvorak, decision win. Philip Dos Santos, decision win. But you know, very inactive. He's a good fighter. Just a lot of, especially YouTube MMA, had this guy hyped up to be the next champion, the next guy. I don't know if that's the case anymore. You know, this is, his inactivity hurts him. Him pulling out of fights hurts him. His fight style, especially the last 3 fights, not being that entertaining, not that dominant, has hurt him. So yeah, I have Manel Kape here. You guys have to let me know in the comments below. This video is way longer than what I expected it to be. So let me know, did I miss anyone? Who would you put here and why? Thank you guys for watching to the end of the video. 99% of you guys are lazy bastards who just watch this shit for free. All I ask is for you to subscribe and turn on those post notifications so you don't miss any of these videos. Your boy's on that goal to get to 1,000 subscribers. And yeah, boys, you know, there's really not that much else left to say except for I will see you guys in my next video.